I like how all the streaming services woke up and decided to rile everyone up one day. Like there's Apple Music with the 100 greatest albums thing they're doing right now. I've never seen so many people get mad before. And now Spotify decided to make a list of the 100 greatest hip hop songs of the streaming era. Now, streaming era is like a vague term. It's not like a set date on something, mostly because it was a long transitional period where most people went from buying music on iTunes and stuff to just using a streaming platform. For me personally, that started around 2017. Before that, I was buying CDs for the most part. But let's check out what they deem to be the 100 greatest songs. This should be interesting. In February, we launched Spotify Classics, our first ever program to celebrate catalog music. Our inaugural list acknowledged the classic hip hop and R&B albums of the streaming era and featured timeless releases like Damn, DS2, 444, and Astroworld. Those are great albums. All right, let's check out what songs they deem the best though. So we're kicking off the list with Coil Ray's Players. Like, this is not a bad tune. It's a nice, fun summer song. Would I include it in the 100 classic songs? Probably not. 5UO4's Big Drip. Big Drip! I fell in love with a lit bitch! That's a fun song as well, but is it a classic? YG, Nipsey Hussle, FDT. This was pretty low, surprisingly. People were really backing this song when it was running, so I'm surprised it's that low. Sexy Red Ski. I mean, Sexy Red probably deserves a spot just because of how, I guess, controversial her appearance has been so far in rap. So, oh, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. That's a big dub. I'm glad they put Freddie Gibbs in. I mean, shout out to Flo Milli, but this is a song that's like currently popular. Like, did it even have time to grow into a classic status? Denzel Curry's Ultimate absolutely deserves to be on here. It did a lot for the SoundCloud song. It did a lot for pushing Florida into the scene. Of course, it's not Denzel's best, but it deserved to be on here. A$AP Rocky's Lord Pretty Flacco 2. 2015 streaming era? Really? I guess we're going back to 2015, but this is the song you picked from this album? Really? Yo Gotti's Down to the DM was definitely a big song. Doja Cat and Rico's Tia Tamera is a great pick. Other than Moo, this was like the first Doja Cat song I heard, and it still bangs to this day. It's a great beat on it. Young Thug's Check, let's go. If we're talking modern streaming era classics, you gotta put Barter 6 on here. You gotta put Young Thug on here. Mac Miller's Self Care is a good pick. I'm glad they actually included Mac Miller on one of these lists. Followed by Sweetie's Might Type. I might swap those two, me personally. Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj, Princess Diana. I mean, of course, you gotta include Ice Spice on here, but seeing this one at 81, I wonder how many more they're gonna include. There's the first Cardi placement with Shuda featuring Lil Uzi Vert. Stylist, just a very huge album in Cardi's career. It really made a lot of people take him more seriously, including myself. Tyler, Youngboy, and Ty Dolla $ign's What's Your Name? That's a great track. I hope there's more Tyler on here because this is not like a definitive Tyler track, so yeah. Uzi's Money Longer definitely deserves to be on here. Drake's Know Yourself. That's a great track too, but I don't consider this streaming era. Central C's Doja. I mean, I guess so. Now this is a good pick. Trippie Redd and Travis Scott, Dark Knight Dummo. At one point, this was like the greatest song I've ever heard, just because the beat is so insane, but Trippie Redd definitely deserves to be mentioned. Young M.A.'s Ooh, that's a great pick. Young Thug and Gunna, Hot. Yes, there's so many better Young Thug songs, and something tells me that they're not going to be putting a lot of them on here. Jack Harlow's What's Poppin'. I mean, I'm not at all surprised that this year was a massive song. A-Boogie and Kodak Drowning. Certified classic. Absolutely great track. With one of the most iconic Kodak Black verses. If you're talking about streaming era, you got to talk about Migos, man. Especially the whole Culture album was so huge. And T-Shirt's a good pick. I would have expected Bad and Bougie, but T-Shirt's such a good pick. A$AP Ferg's Plain Jane. Man, this song used to be everywhere. Breaking 21's Jimmy Cooks. I guess. I mean, they might be going off of streams too. This is a massive song. J-Rock, Kendrick, Future Kings. That J-Rock getting mentioned on a list like this is so deserving. That man is so underrated, but also so important to like the West Coast uprising with TDE. I'm glad he's getting mentioned at least. Tyler, the Creator, See You Again. That's a good pick. I agree with that. Really turned Tyler into like a pop star, if anything. Blockboy JB, Look Alive. Yep. Wait, this song was released through OVO. Oh man, Blockboy didn't even get any money from this probably. I mean, this song was pretty important for like giving a boost to the Memphis sound. You ended up getting people like Moneybagg and Glorilla. Butterfly Effect. I always thought this song was very basic for Travis Scott standards. When I first heard Butterfly Effect, it was like a turning point into realizing Travis Scott's not going back to being like experimental. And then he tried doing it on Utopia and it didn't really work out. Internet Money's Lemonade. I mean, this is one of the most catchy songs I've ever heard. Uzi's Just Wanna Rock. Ooh. I mean, if you look at Uzi's discography, this is one of his most unique songs. Da Baby. I mean, hate him or love him, he definitely deserves to be on here. This guy's run in 2019, early 2020 was unmatched. Metro Boomin Superhero. I mean, great great track, of course. It's a little too recent, I think. Gunna's Fuck You Mean. I mean, it was cool to see Gunna get like a big hit, but this song is like not that amazing. Out of all the Future and Drake collabs, this is the one you pick? There we go. This makes more sense. Ooh, Travis Scott, Antidote. Oh my God. I feel like the media and Travis Scott in general, they like downplay Rodeo a lot of how fantastic that album is. And Antidote was like the biggest banger I've ever heard at the time. Inspired by Ray Shrimmer's No Type. Is this true? XXX, Look At Me. I'm not surprised this is here. Is streaming era is just like a longer SoundCloud era is what they're talking about here. If we were doing like a SoundCloud era list of these songs, this one's like number 1 or 2 for sure. Chance the Rapper's No Problem. See, this is a big one because it was self-released and it was one of the first albums to only be released on streaming, right? And I think this album did a lot for Spotify, so it definitely deserves to be here. One of the most catchy songs ever and really kind of like put Brent Faiyaz on, so I'm not mad at it. Kodak Black, Roll in Peace. There's many other Kodak songs you could have picked, but I guess this one, because of the collab, works out. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, Family Ties. You hear those horns in the beginning and you lose your mind. I mean, that's one of those songs that really like hits the core. Another Cardi song, and it's Magnolia. Pretty important song, pretty big song, especially in the SoundCloud scene. Offset, Metro Boomin, Ric Flair, Drip. I'm glad Offset got a mention. Of course, this song was massive, but it was pretty instrumental in people realizing, hey, the Migos can be solo acts as well and be pretty popular. J. Cole's Middle Child. Ooh, massive song. Not J. Cole's best, but there's so many other J. Cole songs you could have picked, and this is the first one. Kanye West's Ultra Light Beam is such a good pick. One of Kanye's best songs ever. Might be my favorite one on The Life of Pablo. Such a good Chance feature on that too. Super dramatic and gospel-y. Like, he did everything right on this track. I mean, Ye was really cooking on Pablo. Back to Back is a pretty good pick, but this is really when we thought Drake was undefeatable in a rap beef, and then fast forward 10 years later. Kendrick Lamar's DNA is a great pick. Would have rather seen this over like Loyalty and Love, so I'm glad they went with this. Whoa, Post Malone, 21 Savage, Rockstar. This is actually pretty low. I would have expected them to put this up higher because it has like 3 billion streams. Fun fact, Rockstar is the most streamed rap song in Spotify history, and you put it at 27. So many better Ray Sherman songs, but this is a pretty huge moment. Tyler the Creator's Earthquake, pretty solid pick. I was gonna say it's not really a rap song despite a Cardi feature on it, but they mention it too. But Igor's a great album and it deserves to be mentioned, so I'm not mad at it. Polo G's Rap Star at 24. Bruh, come on, let's be real here. 21 Savage, J. Cole, a lot. Great pick. One of 21's best songs. Very important verse. It also had that effect of people taking 21 more seriously as a rapper too. Meek Mill and Drake, Going Bad, pretty important song. This is the first time they collabed after beefing. Such a banger beat too. One of Meek's best and one of Drake's best features. I love this song. Fetty Wap, Trap Queen at 21. In the back of my mind, I was rooting for a top 10 for Fetty, but WAP sneaks above it somehow. I know this song was huge when it first dropped, but do people actually like listen to it to this day? Yeah, apparently 400,000 times a day still. I'm not mad at it. French Montana, Sway Lee, Unforgettable. The biggest alley-oop of all time was Sway Lee giving the song to French. It is kind of a classic. Yikes. Lil Baby and 42 Doug, We Paid. Not this high, man. Not this high, man. Maybe somewhere like in the lower half, but not this high. Above Trap Queen, really? Kodak Black, Snow Flockin', pretty important song for Kodak and for Florida and stuff like that. Well, it's a good pick, I guess. But again, I don't think it's this high. Kendrick Lamar's Humble. Sure, of course, yeah. I've went on record to say before that I don't think this song is aged amazingly. You can't deny how huge it was. Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. I'm glad that they're not scared to include Kanye on this list because you can't deny how big he was even in the late 2010s. Absolutely iconic beat, iconic chorus. Great song. Roddy Ricch The Box, amazing pick. I would have actually put this in the top 10 myself. Massive, catchy song, great vocal performance on it. Mark my words, 2024, Roddy Ricch is having a comeback. Travis Scott and Kendrick Lamar, Goosebumps at 13. I could see that. Pretty massive song, very hypnotic, great beat. Future's Mask Off. I mean, you had to have a Future song this high, and it definitely is Mask Off. I mean, that song was massive. X, Jocelyn Flores. Ooh, I don't know if this one's this high. I wouldn't put it this high, but it did a lot for like the lo-fi scene, I guess, which was pretty underrated at the time, so I guess I respect it. I mean, you kind of had to put a Juice WRLD song this high because of how massive he is. This is not one of his best songs, but it is one of his biggest ones, so be it. Pop Smoke's Dior. Massive song for New York Drill. Pop Smoke is one of those rappers that we're unfortunately never going to see the full potential of. This mixtape album was full of bangers, so Yeah, Dior is one of my favorite ones. Shekwest Mobamba in the top 10 is crazy, but iconic song for like DJs to perform to hype up a crowd. Sicko Mode at number 7. I mean, I'd probably put it even top 5, honestly. Great stuff from Travis and Drake. Just a very interesting song, how many different phases it has. One of the best from Astroworld. Oh, Migos Bad and Bougie at number 6. I actually didn't expect them to put another Migos song. I guess this was like a number 1 track. Super popular at the time, man. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing this thing. Future's March Madness. Whoa. It's nice to see mixtapes are still getting mentioned on this list, because I guess that was also part of the big transition, was going from online mixtapes to people just releasing them on Spotify. But yeah, great Future song. You can't deny it. Uzi's EXO Tour Life. Man, when that OG version dropped on SoundCloud with like Love Is Rage 1.5 or whatever, take me back to those days, man. But this is one of Uzi's best songs for sure. We're entering the top 3. Let's see what we have. Drake's God's Plan. I mean, I'm not surprised. You got to put Drake up here, and God's Plan was that massive song. Very definitive for the era, I guess. It's a catchy track. You can't deny it. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, top 2. Number 2. Bruh. I mean, shout out to Cardi, man. Really, top 2? Like, for sure, in like the top 30. For sure. But number 2 is like so generous, dude. It sounds a little bit dated. It sounds like it was made in 2017. It didn't really age well at all. Which leads us to number 1. Oh, all right. A T-Pab song at number 1? Okay. Kind of a based pick. It's definitely not like the most popular song on this list. And it's definitely not a song that you can put on anywhere and everyone's gonna vibe to it. But the message behind it and the importance of it, you can't deny. And they were playing it a little safe by placing this up here, but I'm not mad at it. So there you have it. 100 greatest hip hop songs according to Spotify in the streaming era. Not a horrible list. I mean, some songs being placed way too high, some being way too low. But I can't really think of any snubs. I mean, they put everyone here at least once that I care about. They even gave Denzel Curry a placement, so I'm not mad at it. Let me know what you guys think. Did they miss someone? Did they mess something up? Yeah, thanks for watching. Spotify, please pay your artists more.